Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi and good afternoon to all. How are you today all?
Good, sir.
Waalaikumsalam.
Good, sir.
Good, sir.
Taking your lunch already?
Yes. Not yet. Answer.
Okay, good. Before we begin the class, to all the Muslim, we begin by reciting the Al-Fatiha and Salawat. Fatiha. Okay, any question regarding your assignment? Assignment 1? No question, eh? Good.
Doktor,
Good.
nak tanya. Untuk literature review, SLR nak sekurangnya berapa?
Ni referencing ke?
Ah.
This is your assignment. It should be more than 30 or 20-30 lah, kan?
Oh,
Right.
okay. Terima kasih, Doktor.
The more is better lah. So the example of the literature SLR is what I given you the task in the class, kan? You baca dah, yang buat dah yang task tu kan, in class task tu. That is a sample of SLR, eh? Tapi that one is for research base, eh? Is for doing your research findings to help you to get the gap, right? But this assignment is not toward that, a little bit less lower than that level lah. All right, this is an assignment only for you to know about the issue well. Okay.
Sir.
Yeah.
This assignment format must be follow the report format, sir. Instead of like we have to follow the report format.
Report format for what?
We can use our
the format, is it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Format, the technical format.
Yes, sir.
Technical format nanti I lupa nanti I bagi. Tapi dia punya storyboard is up to you, right? The storyboard should be the like I told you before, introduction. Then the content should be your what your things that you want to highlight. The introduction should be your background of the issue. Then your conclusion should be your arguments, your point of view on the subject matter. Right? So format is like that lah. There's a format lah. Cuma yang saya beritahu tadi, yang I said just now is the technical part. The font, everything like that one also maybe you don't know, because actually is as long as the format is tidy and very systematic, the technical things is okay lah. But since you request, I will give you the technical format of the assignment, right?
Yes, sir.
Understand, Indonesia?
Yes, sir. Understand? Thank you,
Okay.
sir.
Hey, what is Deepavali?
This 4th November, sir.
Oh, next week lah. This week lah.
Yes, sir. This week.
Fall under what day?
I also forget.
Thursday, sir.
Thursday, sir.
Thursday or no class?
Thursday, sir.
Thursday we have no class, right?
Yes, sir.
Alright. So we can continue our class on liner shipping. Previously we talked about liner, but tram. Previously we talked about liner, right? Today we'll talk about tram shipping. Okay, a tram shipping, if you look in the dictionary, a tram, not putting shipping side, a tram is like a beggar, a beggar looking for people to sympathize and give money to them. Right? The concept is a little bit same, but it's not like a beggar totally lah. Meaning that you look for opportunities for carrying goods or to ship goods or cargoes. Tram shipping service, right? A tram service, also called a tramper, is a service that is even available at a short notice. So this is not a scheduled service. This is not an express service liner like X-liner, right? This is a service that based on your request. If you want to ship a cargo, then you want to ship immediately, you should find the tram shipping service. Because a tram shipping service can deliver your what you need and want. And they will tailor made to you, right? Provided your cargo is a lot, right? Can cover up a small ships, right? You cannot use a tram service if you have only one container. It's a waste, right? It's a waste because it tend to be high cost. But if you have many containers or many cargoes, it can be bulk cargoes, it can be break bulk cargoes, it can be anything. You can look for a tram shipping service, right? Because it's a service that is even available at short notice. So it depends on you when you want to deliver it, at what time, okay, and to what destinations. So they will tell it to you. So it does not follow any strict schedules or routes. There's no fixed schedules or routes. Definitely no, because for that matter, only liner service provided, right? Okay. And then goods can be on and offloaded at any port. So for a tram service, you can decide. You can decide which port you want to unload your cargo. They will deliver after you have negotiated the terms and conditions, the rates, the price, all agreed upon both parties. Then they will send to anywhere in the world for your cargo. That is tram service, All right. Trampers are also used to carry bulk cargo apart from usual cargoes. Okay, like we mentioned before in liner service, liner can also be bulk cargo or break bulk cargo liner, right? But it also can be a tram. So the difference between a tram and liner is that a tram is being engaged usually by a few shippers, by a few consigner, and by a few owner of cargoes, right? So on one ship can be many, can have a few shippers. One carrier, a ship is a carrier, can have a few shippers or consigner, right? Owner of the cargoes. But for liner, they have a lot. They have multiples. Various owner or shippers. But for tram, maybe one. It can be one. It can be two. It depends on the size of the ships and the size of cargo that the owner or the shippers ask the ship to carry. If the owner or the shippers of the cargo have a half full load of ships, definitely the carrier need to find one more owner to fulfill the ships with with full load for a maximum utilizations of resource of the bunker, right? The cost will be minimized. But if the owner of the cargo insists to carry their cargo only with the set price by the shipper, right, by the carrier, then the carrier will by all means carry the cargo, although the cargo is belong to one owner, and although the cargo is not full load of the ship. Why? Because the owner of the cargo or the shipper able atau can pay the full ships as the cost of the full ships. So if they can pay the price, no problem. The carrier will carry anywhere in the world. That is TRAM, negotiated terms and conditions. Negotiated and negotiable. Okay. So a TRAM characteristics. The first one is homogeneous transportations. Usually, this is usually characteristic of a TRAM is like this. Homogeneous transportation. What do you mean homogeneous? Homogeneous versus heterogeneous. Homo is one kind of cargo. Hetero is many type of cargo. Right? So homogeneous transportation meaning that these ships are used for usually transporting of huge quantity of homogeneous cargo, which carried in bulk quantity. So usually, the tram service provide carrying a large quantity or bulk quantity of same type of cargo. That is usually the carrying the raw material, right? For example, they carrying a certain type of material cargo like grains, like the ONG, petroleum, right? So one kind of cargo, homogeneous only, right? Usually, like tanker, all those things is a tram business. A big tanker usually is tram business. That's why if you further on, we will learn the type, the management of tram. You can see there are few type of tram because tram is referring like they charter the ship. So the three type of chartering, break voyage charter, apa nama ni, charter and demise charter and bareboat charter. So for example, like you seen that Petronas is building a big tanker, right? But they charter the tanker from Petronas SBU or Petronas independent business organizations. It's still under Petronas, but it's not under ONG. It's other services, but still under Petronas punya umbrella, punya wing. They charter the ships. They charter the ship to carry Petronas ONG, right? So since the charter is too long, they charter it for 5 years, 10 years, as though that they own the ship. That's the mean by demise charter. That is the example. So that's why usually when you talk about homogeneous cargo, you talk about tram. And when you talk about homogeneous cargo, usually you talk about chartering. You charter the ships, the whole ship for your cargo. All right. So these are the characteristic of tram shipping. And usually when you talk about homogeneous, is you talk about raw material, raw material, supplying raw material to any part of the world. It can be grains, grain, not grain, no grain, coal, sugar, timber, wheat, or any other raw materials. Raw material meaning that a material that is not been processed yet is from the origin. And then you send the raw material to other places so that it can be processed to turn to something useful to humankind. Mankind. The second characteristic of tram is no fixed routes, right? No fixed route and no fixed tariff. That's come the term why they said is negotiable, negotiable. So liner is all fixed. It's all been fixed by the shipper by the carrier, right? By the carrier. But for tram, it's not being fixed. It does not have fixed routes and predetermined schedules of departure. No, that is not the characteristic of that is the characteristic of tram. Kalau fixed tu bukan karakteristik of tram. Fixed schedule semua tu bukan. That is liner. This one is example lah yang paling mudah, the analogy dia. The most easiest analogy is like in Malaysia, you have bus service. Usually bus service as interstate usually is a liner service, right? Express bus, express liner. Okay, plus liner. They have plus liner, right? So a liner service is they have a published schedules and published rates. But if you don't want to use liner service, because liner service is usually a common carrier. What do you mean by a common carrier? A common carrier is a carrier that be shared by others, right? That is a common carrier. You don't like, you want privacy, so you go to you have a choice. Either you take Grab, nowadays Grab lah. Those days, but Grab also then they provide interstate, right? But if you have, you can able to afford to pay the price, they will provide you anywhere in Malaysia. They will send you, right? For Grab. I want to go to Kuala Lumpur from Shanglun. Okay, one car is 400 or 300. You can pay, no problem. I will send to you. I'll send you to the destinations. That is Grab. That is charter lah. Before the e-hailing service exists, people use private taxi, the charter a taxi. So when you charter a taxi, you discuss with the driver how much is the price, where you want to drop to have your lunch, you want to drop, then you can drop anywhere, any R&R for retreat, right, for a while. So you can have your own car. For example, you have your own car lah, and with a chauffeur, with a driver lah. But with a price, you can use a bus liner service, express bus, only 80 ringgit, Changlun KL. But if you can pay 300 ringgit or 400 ringgit the whole car, then you can go for the tram service, charter service. You charter the whole taxi for your own only. So you have your own car, and you have your own driver to drive you from Changlun to KL. But with a price. That is private carrier lah, chartered carrier. Kalau you naik bus express, you take the bus express, is a common carrier. Because in the bus, there are many people sharing the bus to KL with you, right? Maybe you have less privacy. Nowadays with COVID, right? You share all the COVID in the bus, right? You don't want, so you should pay the price for a private taxi, lah. Okay, or private Uber service. So this is the difference between tram and liner, right? It goes the same with other modes of transportations, not only shipping but other modes also. For rail saja yang tak ada private rail, ada private rail. Tak ada, tapi you can rent the coach. You can rent one coach for you. KTMB provide the service. You have the price, you have the money, you can pay them, they provide you anything. A coach for what? For party. A coach for meeting. A coach for what? For conventions, for meeting, or for seminar. They can provide the coach. From JB to Padang Besar, you want to have a seminar, they can provide you the coach. If you have the money, you can pay. Meaning that the coach is for you and your team, right? You're not sharing the coach with others. Although the route is the same, because rail cannot have a different route, right? Because rail track is there's one rail track or two rail track only, right? There's no other rail track, so you need to share the journey to Padang Besar, but you have your own coach. Understand? That one is rail. For air sama juga. The common carrier is airlines. Common carrier is airlines. So they publish all the departure date and departure time. But you want to travel privacy, you charter a private jet. Nowadays, you don't need to buy a private jet. You can charter the private jet for you and your family if you have the money. Okay, nowadays no more. No need to buy jet, because to buy a jet, a high cost in terms of you must pay the pilot, you must provide the pilot with salaries, the stewardess inside, repairing, maintenance of the aircraft is very expensive and crazy. The parking fees at the airport. So what you did is you can rent, you can charter the private jet for you and your family. So you can travel anywhere in the world. Just pay them. Pay them includes everything. They don't think about the fuel of the aircraft anymore. They don't think about the parking fees. They don't think about the maintenance. What you think about, I want my journey safe and secure to the destination. That's all, and in very comfortable way, with my own family only. Usually, when the pandemic rise, the pandemic exists, many wealthy people, ultra rich people are chartering private jet for traveling, because they don't want to share with other people with the COVID pandemic situation like today, right? So they charter ataupun they rent a private jet for their whole family to travel. That one is rich people lah. But you can do that if you have money. So for aircraft, it's the same. For maritime, maritime focus on cargoes. For other mode like aircraft or rail, maybe focus on other things, not cargo, right? And then for definitely for road transport, other bus and taxis, everything, all sort of services like liner and tram. Okay, so in in transportation management, there's two type of operations, either tram or liner, but don't call it a liner. They call it a common service or private service. Common carriers or private carriers, they call it. But the same. Common carriers refer to liner. Private carriers equal to tram. Okay. Trams rely on the rule of demand and supply in the market. So when you talk about negotiable terms and conditions, definitely it will be based on supply and demand. All right. That's why for tram there has multi exchange. Later on you will touch on multi exchange. Multi exchange is the place whereby the owner of the cargo or the shippers will find their carrier. Not they looking for that. Not they looking for themselves, or even they can do that also. But usually they engage broker. So the broker will exchange at the place in London. Because you're talking about international trade, you're not talking about domestic trade. You're talking about international trade, international moving of cargo. Okay, that one they have a market exchange to observe the fluctuations of market, the supply and demand. From that they decide the rates, and the carrier will decide the rates, and the broker will find any carrier, any shipper, or any owner that agree with the rates, and they will ask. Usually, the owner will ask, "Why is it like this?" They will explain. The rate is like this because fluctuation of market, supply and demand. Now the demand for ship is higher than the supply of ship, so definitely the rate will be higher, right? If the supply of ships is more than the demand of ships, definitely the rate will go lower, right? So these are economics and supply of demand. For tram, there is depend on the situations of market, supply, demand, and supply and demand market. But for liner, they usually have a fixed rate. And how they fix the rate? They fix the rate by using the conferences. Okay? Liquid liner have conferences, right? The conferences, right? They use this platform to stabilize the rate. Okay, what happened is that they will ensure that there's no companies or no liner cutting on rates, especially when the supply is more than demand. When the supply of ships is more than the demand of ships, definitely the liner, the operators, the carrier bid for will go for the customers, right? For the shippers and the owner of the cargoes. And then in order to do that, they cut on pricing, they cut on rates, and it will hamper, it will affect other providers also. That's why we have conferences in liners. We have agreements for the platform in liners service to maintain this kind of rate fluctuations, to stabilize it, to avoid any cutting of rates by the providers of the service. Because people want to survive, right? But if we allow on people allow the situation to happen, it will cut, it will damage, or it will affect other liners services, especially the bigger liners. That's why they have conferences and agreements, like regional agreement, everything. In order, the most important thing is that other than apa nama, to share business or routes or cargo, is also to stabilize the freight rates, to avoid any cutting of rates. Same also like the Baltic Exchange, right? To decide the rates based on supply and demand. If not, there will be many shipper carriers yang try to win the business, try to win the owner and the shippers to use their ship, so they cut on rates and prices. That will affect the whole business. They will negatively affect the development of the business of tram. So it's important to know that. So you were asked if the terms and condition can be negotiated. So how they will decide the schedules and rates? It will depends on the information on the demand and supply. Okay, market driven. That will decide. Okay, what sort of ships is more expensive to use nowadays based on the demand of the ships. Based on the demand of the cargoes. For example, demand for ONG is getting higher. So definitely many shippers or owner will look for more tankers, and to mobilize ONG product. Okay, they will need more tankers, either big or small. So definitely it will affect the rates for tanker, because the demand is higher for that kind of ships. So these are the things that we decided when we decided in the exchange, right? Basically, the tram business, it will rely on brokers, because it's difficult for the owner of the cargo or the shippers to go look for ships that can carry the cargo with goods. Only the only broker can connect between the owner or the shippers and the carriers. They have a lot of information there. Then they can connect these two. And the connection is with the price. Definitely they will have some commissions on that. Right? You can be rich you doing this kind of brokerage business in port without any capital. Your capital is your networking. Right? Some brokerage have even a yacht, whereby some ships they have no place to put their containers, not enough place on the port to accommodate their cargoes. So they look for areas or yacht that they can rent to put their containers. So they go for broker. Broker have a lot of information on this thing that they look for in the port, because every port have their own local broker, so they know where is the locations or whatever, who can provide the service to keep their cargo. And all this thing is being charged according to square feet. Just imagine 1 square feet, the broker got a few cents. So you're talking about thousands of square feet per day. They charge per day. What happen if they use the yacht for a week? or per month, and then the amount of money they got. But actually, they don't own the yacht. They just link between the yacht owner and the ship, the carrier, or the cargo owner. They get the money. Anything happen to the cargo, they don't involve because it's on the part of the yacht owner and the cargo owner. Broker doesn't include in the picture, but the money they got, and that is broker lah, right? Macam insurance lah, insurance salesman kan. If you buy an insurance from an agent, the agent is the company agent. But once you sign agreement to take the insurance from the company, it is between you and the company. No more agent inside. Agent has already got their commissions 4 years from you. You pay the premium every month. They got every month they will deduct a few percentage for the agent until 4 to 6 years. I think the agent will got the commission from you. But anything happen, you and the company. Agent no more in the picture. Agent just provide you services, extra services only to help you. That's all. Same like broker, so it's the same. Less expensive and less operating cost. What do you mean by less expensive? It's a ship, see? So either a liner or a tram is the same cost. But why they said a tram is less expensive and less operating cost is because, first of all, equipment is simple. What do you mean by equipment is simple? Because the cargo they carry is low value cargo. Right? The cargo they carry is a low value cargo. Why is a low value cargo? Because it's raw material. Raw material that has not been processed yet. Raw material is low value because it's not been processed to add up the value. Right? A grains it's just a grain, a low value grains, macam jagung ke, macam gandum kan. But once it processed to be a bread, to be a cornflakes, whatever, then the value is higher. Right? So that's why they call it tram is less expensive. And because of less operating cost, because the equipment they need is simple, only cranes, a few cranes. That's why some bulk carriers, they have their own crane on the ships. Usually tram using bulk carrier for what? For raw materials. But some tram services also provide container service. Provided that the whole container, the whole ship carry one owner container only. One shippers only. They don't carry other owners container. Only the on one owner. So maybe from big companies, there's one case whereby Coca-Cola using one tanker to just carry Coke only, right? To carry Coke, raw material of Coke, because they want to minimize cost. Because during pandemic, the container cost freight rates is very high. 300% increase from before. 3 to 500%, just imagine. Right? From 9,000 USD to ship from China to US, it goes up to 30,000 USD or 27,000 USD per container. So it's crazily high. So some of the big owner of cargos or big shippers, they tend to rent it, to charter ships to carry their own cargo. But they cannot, usually they carry to be more economic, they carry raw material to be processed at China, for example. They use tanker for carry the raw material for making Coca-Cola. Right? That's happened early this year. And due to this freight rate also, there's many cargo owner or shippers look for tram. That's why nowadays tram business is getting higher demand from the owner and the shipper because of container shipping freight rates is crazily out of control. Until when, we don't know. They said the freight will go down, but still the same. Not yet go down totally like before. So these are the things that affect the businesses, because as you all know, during challenging times, most businesses are looking for cost efficiency, optimization of cost, reduction of cost, because to maintain the profit, that's why they need to reduce cost, right? So if the cost getting higher, the profit will be lesser because they have certain percentage for profit, right? If the cost is incurred, the percentage of profit, definitely the profit will be lesser. Then it will not good for the company. And that's why company must look for optimization of the cost. Wherever they can find, they can get, they will go for it. That is business, dollars and cents. Right? Why is simple? Bulk cargoes are normally loaded and discharged by mechanical equipment. The equipment they use for bulk cargo is simple equipment. Yeah. Huh? Right? So it's simple equipment like mechanical equipment. Okay, wait. Okay, sorry just now because I have to talk to somebody. Right, so the equipment is simple and no sophisticated equipment like gantry cranes for container, right? Stackers, whatever, no need. It's just common mechanical devices or equipment, elevators, pump, conveyor belt, that's all. They are very less expensive. And carry comparatively low unit, this I already told you, right? Low unit value of commodities. The other thing is that this one also I told you just now, term and condition is negotiable. There's a characteristic of tram. Services terms and conditions of charges are not fixed. It's totally negotiable between the shipper and the carrier, or the owner of the carrier. So these are the differences between tram and liner shipping. Dia macam repeat balik karakteristik je lah kan, tapi dia compare between tram and liner lah. Liner fixed route and schedules as well as destination been published, been fixed. Tram does not have any fixed schedules. Tram also can be available at short notice, but liner cannot. Liner must follow the published schedules. It is less expensive and even has the capability to fit in ships with lesser speed. So why liner is a little bit high, is little bit costly compared to tram? Because a liner need to fulfill the time, the schedules that they promise, right? But tram no need. Tram is depends on your negotiable terms and conditions from between you and the shippers and the carrier or the owner. So if the owner says speed is not is not an issue, so you can have a different kind of ships that is more cheaper to maintain, right? Ataupun a ship that can slow down the speed because higher speed, higher cost, but they use more bunker, right? So these are the things that make tram is more flexible, and more favorable among the shippers and the owner, if they have big cargoes, a lot of cargo to move, right? You cannot use the tram kalau you want to transport one container, two container, three container, right? And that one you better use common carrier lah, a liner kan. But if you want to move a lot of cargos, your own cargos, then you need to find tram. The liner owners follow predefined rules and terms. The terms and conditions of a liner is been stated, okay, is been fixed, right? There's no such condition for tram services. For tram, tak ada specific condition. The condition is based on the requirement or request from the owner or the shipper. And either the carrier can provide or not, that's it. The discussions and the negotiable, the discussion and bargaining between the carrier, the shipper, and the owner is mutual agreement. I want this, can you provide? Yes, okay, fine. I want this, can you provide? No, fine, I look for other carrier. Right, this is straightforward discussion between or bargaining between two parties. But for liner, it's already fixed by the carrier. You don't want or you don't want, leave it or take it, that's all. You have no choice. Okay, but for tram, you have choice. If the carrier cannot provide, you find other carrier. Okay. Liners have modern equipment through which loading and unloading can be faster. So liners actually is focusing on containerization. For containerization, as you all know, the material handling equipment, MHE. For liner is more sophisticated and can provide can be a catalyst to the cargo mobility, right? Okay. So cargo mobility can be arranged in a manner that is faster than the tram, because the MHE, material handling equipment, that they use to handle the cargo is fully automated and doesn't involve of breaking up the cargo. It's just about shifting the container box from one mode to other modes, from one location to other locations. That's all. Even the storage plan also is become computerized in order to make sure that the arrangement of the container on the board on deck of the ship is been tailored to the routes or destination that the ship will going. Right. So these are very important for the catalyst of the cargo mobility, container mobility. For trampers, usually do not take a huge load. They prefer to transport one or two shippers consignment. So one tram ship usually have one or two consigner or one or two owner or shippers of cargo. Okay, and they limit the loading and unloading to a lesser number of ports. They're not going to every port. They're going to specific ports we agreed upon by the between the owner and the carrier. The owner or the consigner and the carrier. Okay, the other difference that the freight rates are fixed and published for liner. Ini dah banyak kali cakap lah. For tram is negotiable. The liner ship is used enough with many facilities to carry even refrigerated items. It has the capacity or capability to contain consignment from multiple shippers and can place them accordingly like container ships. Meaning that it's a common carrier lah. So on the ship, they can carry many multiple shippers, multiple owner, multiple shippers, and can place them accordingly is referring to the stowage plan, right? Based on the routes that the ship is going, they arrange the container, they stow the container based on that. Trams are a little smaller and can carry only simple uniform cargo in larger quantities. It can carry only one kind of specific goods at the time. That come the characteristic of tram just now. I mentioned to you homogeneous cargo. Okay. The tram ship is a contract carrier. Tram ship is contract carrier or charter. Yeah. Okay, they're not common. Liner is common carrier. This was I also explained to you just now. Right? The difference between common carrier and contract carrier or private carrier or charter carrier. Okay, any questions about tram now? Any question? Do you understand?
Yes, understand, sir.
Profitable. What do you mean by profitable? If there's no fixed routes, no schedule in tram shipping, how does the business remain profitable? Profitable is something that subjective. But we talk about business, it's dollars and cents. When you make profit, you make money, right? No money, no profit. In this case, for a tram, definitely the trampers make money. If not, they won't move the cargo. How they make money is through brokers. Brokers have, that I told just now, broker connects the trampers with the owner of the cargo or the shippers. Definitely, they will have big owners or big shippers. Okay, as compared to common carriers, usually common carriers consist of multiple various owner because of the cargo they carry varies. It can be one container, it can be two containers, it can be three containers. But for bulk cargo, for trampers, usually it's big owner, big cargo owners, right? Big shippers. Meaning that the cargo is on bulk quantity, high volume, high value, high volume, right? Definitely, usually it consists of homogeneous product, consists of raw material. You never move a raw material for one container, right? Usually they move for one ship. That's why they do. Once they agree upon the negotiations between the owner and the carrier, it's definitely the trampers can produce profit. If not, they won't accept the agreement between two parties. That's why I mentioned you just now. It's a mutual agreement between both parties, the owner and the trampers, right? So it's a win-win situation. The owner can have what they want, request in terms of their own sweet time to to move the cargo to where location it is, their choice, and the tramper provide all the service with a profit. No profit, they won't even start, right? Definitely they have profit. And you all know everything that you use today, finished product comes from raw material. Definitely there will be demand for tram, right? For trampers. Understand? Understand, Tambir? Tambir Tomoy. Are you there, Tambir? Are you going somewhere else? Tambir tanya tapi dia keluar gimana tu. Any more question? Saya kena check bilik kelas orang tidur ke bangun ya. Ashilah binti Kunting binti Kating. Mana Ashilah? Tunjuk video Ashilah. Buka video Ustaz.
Yep.
Azri Mirza. Ada buka video Ustaz?
Ada sir.
Ada betul?
Betul.
Tengoklah muka sikit. Alah.
Saya tak tidur sir.
Okey
Okey.
Badriatul Syahirah.
Sir,
Ada?
ada.
Tak tidur
Tak tidur.
Bagus. Chow Yu Yao.
Hello, sir.
You're around Yasmin Syahira.
Yes, sir.
Good. Chow Puh Kwan.
Yes, doctor.
Good. Apa nama ni? Fajria Arbantoro. Ni betul nama awak ni? Fajria.
Yes, sir.
You from
I'm
where?
here. Indonesia, sir.
Oh, Indonesia. Which part of Indonesia?
Jakarta, sir.
Jakarta. Which part of Jakarta?
Kelapa Gading, sir.
Oh, interesting. Jakarta.
Yes.
Hey, can you on the video for yourself? I want to see, is it okay from Jakarta? Can look at your video. Is clear or not?
Clear, sir. Wait. Clear, sir. It's okay.
Sudah buka?
Sudah, sir.
Tak nampak. Okay.
Yes,
How
sir.
Jakarta? Raining?
No.
How's Pak Jokowi?
Sorry, sir.
How's Pak Jokowi?
The what?
You like him or not? Pak
What?
Jokowi.
I'm sorry. Oh. Jokowi is currently not in Jakarta, sir.
Where is he now? Where is he now?
I don't know. He went outside town.
You like him or not?
So. Not really, but I don't like him either, but I don't hate him either.
Jokowi is good, right? Indonesia is developed under Jokowi, right?
Yeah, the infrastructure is really good now.
Yeah. I went to Jakarta in 2008 to Soekarno Hatta Airport.
Yes.
The airport
It's
that time.
almost. It's already 10 years.
Yeah.
It's very different now.
At that time the Soekarno Airport Hatta Airport is beyond comparison with KLIA lah kan.
Yes.
But now it's different
Now it's pretty good actually. The Terminal 3 is, it's pretty good. It's clean and it's very huge.
That definitely, because not only Jakarta, in Medan also is also good. In Surabaya also good. In Bandung now also good,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah,
I've been to all this city lah, Jogja.
Yes.
Okay,
Almost
interesting.
almost every big city is now
Yeah,
developed.
good. Hopefully Indonesia will be more prosperous under Jokowi lah.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so we continue the class again to finish the slide. All right, this is tram brokers. Like I told just now, like Tomoy Tanvir asked about the profit. So usually trampers rely on brokers, not even trampers, not trampers alone, but even the owners, the consignor, the shipper, the owner of the cargo depends on the brokers, right? But tram shipping brokers is a consolidated organizations that pull together all between that link together all between the owner and the shipper and the carrier. So you must able to differentiate between carrier, shipper, consignor or owner. Usually, if you read any shipping punya documents or literature, they tend to make it like a synonym or similar between shipper, between owner and consignor, right? But they change the term meaning the same person, the cargo owner actually. But cargo owner sometimes they are the shipper, they are also the consignor and manufacturer kan, consignor, right? The carrier is the ship that carry the cargo, right? The carrier. But some literature mention the shipper is the carrier. It depends. So you must know when to use it or the situation when to use it. Because in the literatures, there varies in terms of shipper and carrier. Maksudnya, shipper and carrier sometimes is synonym. But some literature say that shipper, consignor and owner is the same. But some say the shipper and carrier is the same. But that one, it will depends on the situation, based on the situation. But you must know the carrier is the carrier is the entity that carry the cargo from point A to point B. Right? The shipper usually is the ship the cargo. The owner is the owner of the cargo, and usually the owner also the shipper. Consignor also the manufacturers and also the shipper. So these are the things that you need to understand. Right? It depends. Some literature, some authors said shipper and carrier are the same, but it's different. Right? It depends on the situation. Right? That's quite confusing sometimes. But actually, the shipper is the one who ship the cargo. Right? Ship meaning that mobilize. Transfer the cargo from the transfer in terms of not physically transfer. Physically transfer is the carrier. Understand? The carrier need transfer in terms of ownership transfer from the owner for the consignor to the consignee. These are the shipper, the ship. Right? Understand? So it's quite interesting, but quite confusing also. But you must understand the whole situation, the whole mechanism of shipping and trading. And the shipper is the one who ship the cargo. Ship in terms of the owner shifting from the owner to the buyer, exporter to an importer. The carrier is physically mobilize the cargo. That's the carrier. Okay. A tram ship owner and tram ship charterers. Tram ship charterers, this owner, this the consignor, the shipper or the owner of the cargo. The charterers, they are the charterers. They charter the ships. The carrier is tram ship owner. The carrier is tramp ship owner, the trampers. Senang cakap the trampers lah. Tramp ship charterer is the owner of the cargo or consigner or shipper. Rely on brokers to find cargoes for the ship to carry. This is that before, right? They go for brokers to help them, to connect them between trampers and them, the shippers. A broker understands the international trade conditions, the movements of goods, market prices, and the availability of the ownerships. So broker is not just a broker like that without any knowledge. Example like insurance agents. You cannot be an insurance agent without passing an exam. You need to know the basic of insurance first, especially life insurance. Like this broker also they know basic knowledge than business knowledge related to their to shipping. So they need to understand international trade conditions, movement of goods, market prices, and owners, the availability of ships or the owner of the ships. They need to know about this information, right? Then only they can be a good broker. The Baltic Exchange in London is the physical headquarters for tramp ship brokerage. Baltic Exchange in London, right? I've been there. It's an old building, but actually it's not. It's an old building, but been renovated. Because in 1992, this Baltic Exchange building has been bombed by terrorists in London. In 1992. During my time, I studied in London, in England, in 1997. But in 1992, the Baltic, that time, 97, the building still already been repaired and been renovated. But before that, in 1992, been the target for terrorists, not Al Qaeda terrorists, but IRA, Ireland Red Army, right? Macam bahasa Melajunya pihak pemisah island, kan? Macam pihak pemisah di Thailand kan, ada kan, selatan Thailand pihak kan. Ini pihak pemisah island, di mana those days lah, Sinn Féin of IRA, they not agree with the British government because that time John Major, the Prime Minister, been reinstated again as the Prime Minister after election, dia menang, and they hate that, right? Because John Major punya policy to IRA is quite harsh, and they want to be independent from UK, from England, right? Not UK. UK consists of England, consists of Wales, consists of Scotland. That's the called UK. Consists of Ireland, to UK, United Kingdom. They combine the few. Wales, if I'm not mistaken, Wales, Scotland, and Ireland. But England is different. Those days, but now it's the same. UK and England they consider it the same, right? So this IRA one independent ataupun one autonomous from UK, but now they got the autonomous. They got autonomous, meaning that they have their own management, administration of the country, of the place, of the island. But they still under UK, under England. All right. So they bombed this building. They bombed the building. The Baltic Exchange, very bad. So now they have they have innovated it, and then it's functioning well. There's no more IRA because they got the autonomous. They got their request already. So no more terrorists in London, in England, except what they said is they said is Al Qaeda or whatever. That is the new terrorists they want to fight. For that they have IRA. That one is dangerous. Terrorists, because all are English people, the same face, same figures. You cannot differentiate. Like if we use Al Qaeda, Bin Laden, whatever, you can know the face. It's the Arabic face, but during IRA is different because all are the same face like theirs. So it's difficult to identify, right? But now it's easy to identify because of the character of the Arabs. They're different than the local, right? So the Baltic Exchange been targeted as a place to show their resentment to the government lah. Right. So, but now it's okay, no more problem. The Baltic Exchange been renovated and still maintain the old structure lah. Okay, Baltic Exchange works like an organized market and provides a meeting place for ship owners. Ship owners, brokers and charterers. Before the advance of high-tech information technology, ICT, right, whereby you can communicate through computers, through telephone, through fax, through teletext, everything, right? Those days, they must this at the center for them to get together. The owner of the trampers, the consigner, the shippers, and also the broker. Right? These are the place. But nowadays, no need to go and meet there. Only occasionally they meet at the place, but mostly it's like an exchange, like New York Exchange, like KLIC Exchange, right? Whereby all the brokers is there only. No more trampers, no more owners or consigners or shippers. Only the broker will will handle the exchange. Okay, so this is like the stock exchange lah. No more in stock exchange. You cannot find the CEO there. You cannot find the bankers there. Only the remiser or the brokerage is there. The broker is there. Same like Baltic Exchange. The broker only there. Nowadays, they use all the system and all the technology to communicate between the trampers and the owner. It provides easy access to information on market fluctuations, commodity prices, to all the parties involved. Okay. So, like I told just now, broker need to know, need to learn and to know, need to be knowledgeable about their field. Their field is about shipping, international trade. You must know about that. You must know the nature of the cargo they carry. It's mostly commodities, raw materials. You must know the price fluctuates. You must know the kind of cargoes or the kind of trampers that they have, so that you can matching between the owner and the trampers, right? So these are the information that you need to know. You must know the market situation now, the supply and demand, right? The effect of pandemic, what's the effect? So you can arrange the rates, you can inform the rates. Although the rates is between the owner and the trampers and the owner of the cargo, but broker also help in terms of closing the deal or closing the loops, right? Broker can match a cargo to a ship or ship to a cargo, depending on whom they are working for. All right. So the brokers have organization also. Brokers also have organizations. So they make the closing. They make the matching, but they belong to certain organizations. The broker, brokerage. That's what they call it, brokerage firm, brokerage organizations. And they handle this thing. A committee of owners, broker. The exchange consists of a committee of owners, broker, and charterers. Charterer ni cargo owner lah. Are elected to manage the exchange to ensure everyone's interests are represented. So the committee for the Baltic Exchange consists of owner, the trampers, the brokers or firms, brokerage, and also the charterer. The charterer is the big owner lah, big consigner, big shippers. Will be elected in the committee to manage. Why is you must include all the stakeholders? Is so that all the stakeholders' interests will be protected, will be served well, right? These are the building, the old building. This one is the new building. Don't think about this one. This one is the old building, Baltic Exchange, right, in London. These are whereby they meet on the ground of the exchange, right? And this is the front. Luckily, the bomb doesn't damage the whole structure, but the content of the building is collapsed. But the structure is still there, right? So these are the logo of the Baltic Exchange. Okay. Any questions? Any question? If there is no fixed route, apa nama tadi kan? Okay, no question. So very interesting indeed, right? The on a tram. Basically, you if you see the first slide that I showed to you, the first class, ke second class, a slide whereby the percentage of business atau the percentage of growth ataupun apa ni size, market size. The biggest market size is moving of bulk cargo, right? And container is number 2 or number 3, I think. Number 2. First one is bulk cargo. So bulk cargo is tram business, mostly tram business, because moving of commodities. You just imagine one is easy thing to imagine. All the finished product that you use today definitely comes from a raw material, right? So without the trampers, the raw material won't go anywhere, right? Won't be processed. So how important is the trampers? Even more important than the liners, because without the trampers, there will be less business for liners. Because liners usually talking about containerizations, and containerization usually refer to finished products, right? So this is how important is the trampers. That's why it's not a small thing. Small business, but tram is also a big business. Moving mobilize commodities around the world, right? For example, ONG is from the Asia, West Asia, Asia Barat, from the Gulf countries, and be mobilized to all over the world, right? The ONG, right? From Malaysia, from Brunei, all over the world, right? But later on, I think although with what the initiative for Go Green technology and resource, but still ONG very important to our life and to the world, because ONG is not producing fuel only, but also other things. Everything plastic is from ONG or from oil, not gas and oil. So when talk about plastic itself, is from oil. About grease is oil. About your makeup is oil based. And I think that is oil based usually come from crude oil, be processed, right? So it's still very important. Although the degree of importance, degree of usage will be lesser, but the importance of it is still there, still prevalent. Years to come, years to come. Okay. Thank you very much. So we end today's class. So we continue on Wednesday, all right, with a new topic. I think it's a tram management. Tram management. Ni salah hijau ni. Tram, T-R-A-M-P. Okay. Thank you. Any question can ask
Sir,
now.
thank you.
All right. Any question?
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Actually, I have a question, but it's
Huh?
not related with our class,
What?
but it's related with our Lockrens Club. Sir,
Never mind.
this time, are we having any custom certification program?
Custom certification program. You should discuss